Today, I'm gonna break down and kind of walk you through the process of what it looks like to land a $70,000 campaign with a worldwide company. So through this video, I'm gonna take you kind of through all the steps and the processes of, a national, worldwide campaign for a recognized brand and kind of what all those steps look like, give you kind of in-depth insight and access into how to land those bigger, clients and jobs, but also to, just kind of get an idea of the elongated process. It's not as simple as you would think, just like, you get an email, you take the job, boom, you shoot it, it's over. There's so much more that goes involved into it. But this, project in particular was a two-part series project with ASUS, the computer tech company, for two of their new laptops that were coming out. This project happened last year, and I happened to get to be the influencer for this influencer campaign for these new laptops, but also like my production company was able to produce the projects as well. And I worked with a commercial agency out of Dallas, Texas to make this project all happen. And I'm just gonna walk you guys kind of step by step through it. So the initial email, I received an initial email that I have pulled up here, and I'll kind of break it down. Someone from Commerce House, the creative agency that works very regularly with ASUS for a lot of their just commercial campaigns, influencer campaigns, and just different things. They reached out to me, kind of briefly breaking down the project, and says, we're interested in bringing you on to be the influencer for this new campaign. This is what we would be looking from you: full 8-hour-a-day shoot, additional time needed for pre-production, meetings, communication with our agency, access to all of B-roll, deliverables, photography, photos, additional footage from the set day, as well as social posts to the various social platforms that you have. And so with that kind of information and their initial reach out, I had to put together essentially a pitch of what I could offer and bring to the table and for what price that would cost. So after that email, we initially hopped on a phone just so I could, a phone call just so I could get a little more clarity of the situation and what exactly would be needed to be done, so I could give a best quote price of what it would take from me and my company to make this happen. So after that phone call, I sat down and I put together just kind of a little outline of, our production team will handle the production for, the 12-hour day to shoot the pitch deck that they sent over, which I'll show you guys and touch on. These are the deliverables I'll give you, YouTube video, Instagram story post, the feed post, Instagram reel. I kind of just laid out the different things I would give them, and then I gave them a price per project of, I think it was $35K per project, totaling $70K as a whole for this, campaign project for me as the influencer, but also as the budget to, put these pieces together. I and my company did not have to edit it. The creative agency was handling all pre-production and post-production. So all I had to do was be involved in the planning, and then we had to, obviously shoot and produce the project for one day, and me as the talent and influencer make my posts on the back end, also be the talent in the project. So I sent that pitch over. They emailed me back, was like, hey, thank you for this. We'll be in touch. And about 2 weeks, maybe even three, I want to say about 2 weeks. 2 weeks had gone by with no word. And so I was like, I didn't get the job. I didn't get the gig. And then I'd gotten an email back that ASUS and them had chosen me as the influencer for these new campaigns, and to that the project was moving forward. So from there they put together, it's kind of like a storyboard or a pitch deck, which I'll show you guys here. And the first one was for their Asus ZenBook Pro Duo 15 OLED, and you can see they kind of have these photos of me with a breakdown of like the talking points that I would need to say on camera, as well as like the shot that's happening throughout this. You can see here section 2, these are the actions that would be included here. Jacob entering the studio, Jacob navigating the task group icon on the ScreenPad Plus, Jacob in Adobe Premiere using the control panel. So they kind of had like a storyboard laid out with images here. And this is what we had to follow and shoot on the day of production. So this was basically like the storyboard, the outline, the script, and this is what they presented to me. And then we had Zoom, probably around 2 or 3 Zoom calls over the next week, just going back and forth on this, pre-production planning, talking with them about what we could and couldn't do, and just like the final fine print of like the actual lines that I'm gonna say on camera. So yeah, once I landed the gig, it was probably about a week of just emails back and forth, a couple Zoom calls, and then on my end, pre-production, getting the shoot planned and ready. This was the very first one. We did, like I mentioned before, we did 2. This was the first one right here. So from there, I also had to sign the influencer agreement contract, just, obviously signing off that I'm a part of this project and I'm going to adhere to all the deliverables that I said I was going to, deliver on when I sent over my pitch. After that was signed, then it really was down to production and the production day. So yeah, it was not too much pre-production planning, maybe a couple days. My buddy Nat from Better Days, of which I've worked with on like a bunch of shows and different things, produced this with me and my team, and we shot at actually our film studios as well, because they worked that into the pitch deck. A lot of what the commercial was about was like me as, not only a director, but, an entrepreneur, owning locations, having all these other businesses and being a multitasker. That's kind of what the whole commercial was about, and using this laptop to run all of those assets, businesses, shoots, treatments, all that stuff. And so we actually shot at our locations. The shoot was a pretty long day. We had a company move from Honeymoon Inn all the way to the barracks. It's probably a 12-hour day, which is pretty a standard shoot day in the industry. It's like a 12-hour day. And but the crazy kind of like twist to the day was we had to live stream the entire shoot to the client in Dallas and to the client Asus in Taiwan. So they were tapped in wirelessly through like a Zoom feed that was sent from the monitor of what the cameras were seeing, so they could constantly give us notes of like, hey, you need to shoot the laptop in this way, or we need to see this feature, or can you re-say that line? We didn't really like how you said that line. So throughout the entire day, they were tapped in Zoom live through the whole process, so they could kind of give notes and make sure everything was going in the direction that they needed, because this is a big project. A lot of money is being spent. The client needs these campaigns to go well, so they had to be tapped into everything we were doing. So that was kind of something new and unique, hadn't really done before, and we had to do on set all day long. And the same thing for the second one too. So after the shoot went well, loaded up the hard drive with all the footage, as well as a bunch of assets from my company Tropicolor to give to them, because they wanted to implement my company's products into the video as well, just tying it all together. And so I sent them that hard drive, and then they took care of all post-production. So I didn't handle the edit, coloring, or anything in any way. They put it together. They ultimately sent me the final thing, and then they gave me a kind of like a basically a social post of what to say, when to post it on YouTube and on Instagram. These are the things you need to hashtag, here are the ats you need to at, and here's like a paragraph of what you can say. You could tweak it ever so slightly to feel a little bit more like your wording, but this is what we need you to say. And then outside of that post, with those hard deliverables and things to tag and say for the commercial, the other social posts that I had to do, like the reels and the stories and whatever, I could say anything I wanted, post anything I wanted relating to, the commercial content, behind the scenes, whatever I wanted to do in my own words. I just had to make sure to use the proper name of the product, the proper hashtag, and tag the company Asus. So that post-production process probably took, I want to say, 2 to 3 weeks. About 2 to 3 weeks in, I got an email, hey, here's the final edit. I didn't even give, wasn't able to give any notes or feedback. It was just, here's the edit, here's the day we need you to post it. And yeah, then I posted it. And then, the following days after, other little social posts to drive traffic and views to the reels and just different things like that. So that was the kind of overarching process of that first one. Then probably another month went by, and then we started the process for the second one. So it was broken up into 2 projects. It was all one project that was 2 different laptops, so 2 different projects, if that makes sense. Nailed the first one, month break in between, and then we started working on the second one, and it was the same process all over again. So that's kind of a little insight and breakdown into something that's on a slightly larger scale involving multiple parties. And a lot of these big brands and clients go to creative commercial agencies, and those creative commercial agencies put the ideas and things together like this and are the direct client relations. And then those agencies hire a production team. And so in this case, they just hired my production team because I produce videos, and commercials and things. So rather than them hiring a different production team and just me solely being the talent, I kind of pitched them on, you guys obviously know that I'm a filmmaker. We can just have my production team run it, produce it, and I'll still obviously be the influencer and be on camera. And so they were totally down with that, and that's how we kind of made that happen. Had I not pitched them on that idea, they certainly would have hired another team to produce it. But sometimes you just got to pitch. You got to ask. You can't get anything if you don't ask or pitch. So that is how that project went down. Hopefully this gave you guys a little insight into the whole process. If you want to see the projects, I'll link them in the video description below. If you want to see more videos like this, let me know. Appreciate you guys, and I'll see you on the next one.